You owe me money.
White reparations.
Jesse still didn't answer my question, though.
What?
How does it mean that organized white supremacy is fake?
Charlottesville was AstroTurf. They paid a guy not only to organize it, but to bus people in.
You don't think this has
They paid to bus people in, Jessica. I mean, that's crazy. That's like finding out someone bust everybody into January 6th.
Jesse,
we do know that they got busted, and we know that Oath Keepers and Proud Boys got pardoned.
But it was like you paid people to do it, and then raised money off of it.
Center has long held itself up as one of the country's leading civil rights groups. And now its leaders are facing a wild federal indictment on fraud charges. The DOJ says the group paid white supremacists to stir up trouble with other extremists. In short, funding the groups it says it fights. The charges accuse the SPLC of shady payments of $3 million, including $73,000 to the former KKK members and more than $300,000 to Aryan Nation's affiliate. The SPLC slaps the tag of hate group on conservative organizations all the time. It did just that to Turning Point USA just months before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. Here's Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche.
Imagine a donor to the SPLC if they were told, by the way, we're going to...
Hello. Hi. What's up? This is Navigator here. Today's episode we'll be talking about the Southern Poverty Law Center, the same people who called TPS USA Christians who prayed outside an abortion clinic and parents who sound concerned about their kids learning about trans stuff in their school, hate and bigots have been caught red-handed being the ones paying for the hate and bigotry because they were just hit with 11 indictments from a neutral people that, yes, they are in trouble. They were caught basically paying the KKK, real Nazis, and Proud Boys. And they started this. Basically, they were paying, and I can tell you why. It's just the same as Black Lives Matter 2.0. They get a lot of people riled up by paying a bunch of people to start fake hate and hatred. And they make money from it. Because there's nothing that makes more money right now than race hustling. Look at BLM. Look at them right now. I swear, how did BLM beat Black Lives Matter fail that grip? It was so easy. I mean, these guys have been doing it for years, for decades. Yeah. And now they're trying to save face and saying that, no, this is a lie. But they have the receipts. And just wait for the emails to come out. Because, yeah, and I am not surprised by this. I'm really not. I mean, yes. I'm not going to lie. Racism is never going away. When aliens come down here, yes, a lot of people will be racist towards them, but they'll still be racist to other people in general. Without further ado, here we go.
What we're here today is to announce what the general just told you. The Southern Poverty Law Center, in a massive, sweeping indictment, has been charged with allegations of fraud and using the banking system to perpetrate that fraud. I just want to talk about a couple of brief things here. The Southern Poverty Law Center themselves advertise to raise money to dismantle violent extremist groups for a period of at least a decade. They use their donor network to raise money to purportedly dismantle violent extremist groups. However, the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, used the money they raised from their donor network to actually pay the leadership of these very groups. I just want to say that again. They used the fraudulently raised money by lying to their donor network, thousands of Americans, to go ahead and actually pay the leadership of these supposed violent extremist groups. The groups, as the general laid out, include the Ku Klux Klan, the United Klans of America, Unite to Right, National Alliance, the National Socialist Movement, the Aryan Nation Motorcycle Club, and the National Socialist Party of America, and also the American Front. In at least one of these matters, our investigation revealed that funds were used to facilitate the commission of further state and federal offenses, totaling over $3 million. Furthermore, our investigation revealed that the Southern Poverty Law Center, on top of perpetuating this widespread, decade-long, multi-million-dollar fraud, conducted more criminal activity. They attempted to hide their criminal activity from our financial banking network. They set up shell companies and entities around America so that the financial institutions that we rely on as everyday Americans were deceived in believing that money was not coming from the Southern Poverty Law Center in the perpetration of this scheme and fraud, but rather fictitious entities they stood up to perpetuate this ongoing fraud. This is a serious and egregious violation of a group that purported to dismantle violent extremist groups, but in turn actually only fueled the hatred. This is an important case brought by President Trump's administration. We're thankful to the president for his leadership and funding of not just the FBI and DOJ, but his commitment to go out there and wipe out fraud and conspiracy and waste and abuse wherever it occurs, including the Southern Poverty Law Center. Even though this money was made to appear to be coming from legitimate people and legitimate entities, we at the FBI, with our great partners at the Department of Justice and in the state of Alabama, were able to comb through a decade worth of material, a scheme that took a decade to build, so that we were able to follow the money, because money never lies, and they got caught. As the Attorney General said, these charges are varying, they are widespread and wide-ranging, and this investigation is very much ongoing. Today we're here to announce the charges of the Southern Poverty Law Center, and this investigation and the individuals who are responsible will be brought to justice. Thank you, General.
In total, according to the indictment, between 2014 and 2023, SPLC paid at least $3 million to 8 individuals at least. These individuals were affiliated with the Ku Klux Klan, United Klans of America, National Socialist Movement, Aryan Nation's affiliated Sadistic Souls Motorcycle Club, the Nationalist Socialist Party of America, Nazis, and the American Front. Now, as the indictment lays out, after SPLC paid members of these extremist groups, it created work product that reported on these activities that the members participated in or contributed to. And to that end, it was doing the exact opposite of what it's told its donors it was doing. Not dismantling extremism, but funding it. To carry out this scheme, SPLC created bank accounts in the name of at least 5 completely fictitious organizations that had no bona fide employees or legitimate business purpose. The money was passed from SPLC to one sham account to a second sham account and then loaded onto prepaid cards to give to the members of the extremist groups. This was designed to shield the source of those funds, and because of this, SPLC is also charged with one count, as I said earlier, of conspiracy to commit money laundering. In conclusion, I want to thank the acting U.S. Attorney in the Middle District of Alabama, Kevin Davidson, who's in his district right now and not able to be with us, for bringing this important case, along with the FBI team in Alabama for their hard work during this investigation. This investigation is ongoing, and I'd like to ask Director Patel to say a few words as well.
See, that's the way the cookie crumbles, and I can tell you why they did this. Racism makes money. There is nothing that makes money more than fake racism, because they don't really have enough real racism. Well, not enough white on black racism. Not as much as they want, so they're gonna have to make it up. Just like that guy who was in that show Empire, where he faked being mugged, attacked by 3 MAGA guys. Or Black Lives Matter. That was also a sham. And it's no surprise for me at all. And now you're gonna have Democrats defending this. And don't forget, Charlottesville is the reason why Biden said he ran for office, and they planned that. And for years, the Democrats have never shut up about it. Even Kamala said it last year, but again, they were the ones who paid for it. And they paid for Nick Fuentes too, which really does make sense when you think about it. But yeah, take a look. They still don't shut up about it.
What about Charlottesville and the Charlottesville Unite the Right rally? Were they involved in that?
Yes. So what we allege in the indictment and what the grand jury found is that one of the individuals that they paid was one of the folks who helped organize that terrible event. And so so imagine what we're talking about, Laura. We're talking about an organization that actively came out and just screamed it from the top of their lungs.
So just so people understand watching this, Did these informants, in some cases, given the evidence you've seen, actually initiate what would ultimately be these activities? And obviously Charlottesville ended with a tragedy.
Well, we know that they were part of those. They were part of it. Whether they were the leaders or the initiators, that'll come out, I think, eventually. But what we do know is that the very entities that this group was raising money to go against are the very entities that they were taking the money in and paying to these entities and these individuals associated with those groups.
What was the money used for?
Well, we don't know, because again, all we know is that they set up these fictitious bank accounts.
Fake names, like the Constitution Group or whatever it was called. Then they had one called Fox Photography.
Right. Completely fictitious as far as the investigation has shown, and they were using it simply to funnel money to these individuals. The indictment talks about a situation where they paid an individual to steal documents from the organization and then return the documents, and then when somebody else took the hit for it, they paid that person too. To take the hit for that. And so
Biden's DOJ partnered with the SPLC, then turned around and cited them to say white supremacy was the biggest threat to the country. But then the banks flagged the fraud to the feds, and the Biden White House shut down the investigation. Because what else would Kamala have to run on?
Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side.
Just a few months ago, Jamie Raskin singing their praises.
The Southern Poverty Law Center has been a vigilant voice in civil society against radical white nationalist violence and extremism, neo-Nazism, and other forces across the political spectrum.
Understand that they're literally putting high school chapters of ours on a hate group next to the KKK and next to neo-Nazi groups. And, I mean, we can laugh this off. There's an element to this. Remember that there was a shooter that went to the Family Research Council years ago, inspired by the SPLC list. This is them trying to make us basically surrender at Turning Point USA. We're going to do the opposite, and our students are only going to lean in even more. But they can't debate us on our ideas. They cannot have dialogue. They cannot actually go onto the merits of why they are right or why we might be wrong. Instead, they must smear us with the age-old one-liner that you are a racist or that you are a hater. And they're finally realizing the power of Turning Point USA, which is why they put us on this list.
Well, when you're effective, you're a threat.
After Charlie Kirk was put on their watch list, he got shot. Well, they'll say things like, oh, Trump's targeting us. No. You know who cracked the case? The banks. Internal audits noticed suspicious activity.
Is anybody really surprised? I'm really not. Racism is the easiest way to make money so fast. So fast. And to end this off, I'll go through this book, which you know what it is. Proverbs 11:22. Lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but those who deal truthfully are his delight. Thank you. This has been the Navigator Podcast. Please come again and maybe comment if you want. Thank you.